Back to Math with Miss Swartz. Today we are moving on. We did one-step inequalities all of last week to practice that as well as we could. Hopefully we have a good handle with that, and we're moving on to two-step inequalities. So the thing about two-step inequalities is hopefully we have a fairly good handle on it already because it acts very much like the equation. So there's not a lot of stuff we have to go over today. We're just going to look at the steps, which we should probably already know, and then some examples. So let's get started. Two-step inequalities, just like when we worked with two-step equations, we're going to work in reverse order of operation to get the variable alone on one side. Okay, so we're working with the piece that's least attached to the variable, so generally speaking, that's going to be adding or subtracting first. Remember, there's about a 5% time where we would multiply first. Okay, and remember, if we divide or multiply by a negative number, we have to flip our inequality symbol. Okay, very important there. To do that, that's where we can come into, we have to be watching these videos. So, once you have this written down, that's pretty simple. Let's get started with our examples. We have 9 examples on this page. We will see how many we can get to here, and I will have you try a few on your own. So we're going to start with number 1 here. If I look at number 1, I have 4d plus 7 is less than or equal to 23. So we're going to solve and graph each inequality. So we want to work in reverse order of operation, or as we talked about with equations, we're going to work with a piece that's least attached to the variable. So one thing that Ms. Busbin's been doing is saying, okay, let's just pretend this is an equal sign. If you have to, draw that line down the middle like you did with the equal sign. What would you do if it was an equal sign? Okay, well, the piece that's least attached to D would be 7. So we're going to do the inverse here of, we're going to subtract, my pen works, 7. So I get 4D. And I can just keep this inequality symbol like it was an equal sign. So 23 minus 7 is going to give us 4, that's wrong. Can't subtract this early in the morning. Let me erase that. So 20 minus 4 essentially is what we're doing, so we get 16. There we go. Okay, so then we divide by 4. So D is less than or equal to 4. Okay, remember, after we graph this, we could pick a number that is less than or equal to 4, and we could plug it in to check to see if it's right. So if I graph this, okay, 4 goes in the middle, and I have a few going each way. Do I have an open or closed circle? We'll look here. Okay, I'm going to have a closed circle, and it's going to be shaded to the right. Okay, so if you are listening to this video after number 1, you need to write down the code word for this video, which is going to be the word Cheeto. Okay? You have to have that in your notes. This is one way I'm going to check to see if you are actually watching the video. So Cheeto, like the chip, the Cheetos. So Cheeto, that is your word that you need to have written down in your notes. Okay, let's look at number 2. So we have 5m minus 3 is greater than negative 18. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. We get 5m is greater than negative 15. Okay, again, we're treating it just like an equation, so I'm going to divide by 5 now to get my m by itself. So I have m is greater than negative 3. I need to make sure I didn't divide by a negative. Here I did not. So m is greater than negative 3. I forgot to check the last one, but we'll do it on this one. So make sure that your number line is correct when you have negative numbers. If you need to use the number line example up at the top of the classroom, that's great. I'm going to have an open circle on this one, and it's going to be shaded to the right. Remember, my variables are out in front, so I can always look at the arrow direction of my inequality symbol. So I'm going to check this one. A number that's smaller than or bigger than -3, excuse me, is 0. If I plug 0 into here, 5 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is -3. Is -3 greater than -18? It is, so I know that this is right. All right, number 3 is an important one for us. -4x minus 2 is less than 8. Okay, so we're going to add 2 to both sides like we've been doing. Okay, we're working with that addition subtraction. We have -4x is less than 6. No, 10. Goodness, can't add this morning. Then we are going to divide by a -4. Okay, we divided by a negative, so we have to stop and say, okay, I have to flip my symbol. Because I have a positive, it's being divided by a negative, that's going to change the sign of my answer. Okay, 10/4 is the same as, well, you could put 4 into 10 2 times, with how many left over? 2, so 1/2. So if I came down here to graph that, I'll be graphing at -1/2. It's going to be an open circle. I can go up by halves or whatever I want to go up by, so I could go here -2 and here -3, shaded to the right. I have to make sure though that I flip my sign. Okay, so for ease sake, I'm going to have you try 4 through 6 on your own. So you need to be very careful to make sure that you flip your sign if you have a negative that you're multiplying or dividing by. Otherwise, the rest should be pretty self-explanatory. Don't worry about 7, 8, and 9 unless you want some more practice. Otherwise, once you have all your notes done, you can get them checked and have a wonderful day.